crash and cold logic. The sky split open just after midnight. Cal Morgan had seen plenty of strange things in his life. Wildfires dancing across dry hills, coyotes howling under blood-red moons, even an experimental drone once, but nothing like this. A blazing green tear streaked across the stars, flaring unnaturally and crashing deep into the forested ridges past Silver Pine Creek. Cal didn't hesitate. He grabbed his flashlight, slung his gear into the bed of his pickup, and followed the trail of scorched pine and smoking earth to the crater site. His boots crunched over blackened twigs as he stepped into a clearing that hadn't existed an hour ago. At the center was a sleek, silvery structure, half-crumpled, hissing from broken vents. Not fire, not wreckage, something alive. A panel hissed open. From it emerged tall, slender beings, alien in form, but humanoid in posture. Their skin shimmered like oil on water, eyes black and expressionless. They wore uniforms that looked medical in nature, with glowing bands across their chests and surgical kits at their hips. And then Cal saw her. A small figure lay curled on the soil just outside the wreckage, her body delicate and bird-like. Skin like frosted glass, softly glowing veins, and limbs too long and thin to be human. She looked no older than a child, barely 5, if he had to guess. She was hurt, bad. Blood, though not red, pooled beneath her. Her breathing was ragged, shallow, and sharp. Cal stepped forward, instinct overriding logic. "Is she alive?" he asked. One of the tall aliens turned his gaze toward him. Marginally. Spinal lattice failure. Pulmonary collapse. Tertiary organ systems non-responsive. "But you can help her, right?" Cal demanded. "You've got tech. Medicine. Use it." "She has exceeded recovery thresholds for field triage," the alien said flatly. "Allocation of further resources is inefficient." Cal stared, stunned. "She's a kid. She is an unviable outlier. Genetic anomalies were detected long before deployment. This incident confirms anticipated degradation. Termination is the logical course." Without another word, the alien turned back to the craft. Another knelt beside the girl, scanned her once more, then set a thermal wrap across her frame like a discarded toy. "Biothermal comfort will ease expiration. You may observe her end, if you wish." The team filed back into the ship. Cal stood frozen as the girl gasped again, fragile, broken, alive. The alien vessel rose without fanfare, vanishing into the night sky as silently as it had come. No apology, no farewell. Cal dropped to his knees beside the child. "Hey," he whispered, brushing a damp lock of filament-like hair from her brow. Her skin was ice-cold. Her tiny hand twitched, weak and slow, as if reaching for something, anything. "You're not done," he muttered. "Not while I've still got breath." He wrapped her in his old field jacket, her faint glow barely visible through the fabric. He cradled her as gently as he could and stood. The hospital wouldn't understand. Government? Too slow. Military? They'd probably dissect her. But he knew someone who helped the broken, no matter what species they came from. By the time Cal's truck roared into the gravel lot outside Dr. Marion Bell's veterinary clinic, dawn had begun painting the sky a pale orange. The closed sign hung lazily in the window, but Cal pounded on the glass with his elbow anyway. The door cracked open moments later, revealing a disheveled but alert Dr. Bell in a robe, coffee mug in hand. "Cal, you better have a good reason for waking me up." He held out the bundle in his arms. "She's not human," Cal said, "but she's alive, and I think she's got a chance. If you'll help." Dr. Bell stared at the glowing child for half a second, blinked, then threw open the door. "Get in the exam room. Now." Cal didn't move. "Wait. You'll help her?" he asked. She looked at him, eyes clear and sharp now. "I'm a vet, Cal," she said. "I help creatures that don't have anyone else. So yes, I'm damn well going to try." Cal exhaled. The weight in his chest eased, just slightly, as he stepped inside, carrying the first alien child ever treated on Earth. The vets and the outlier. Dr. Marion Bell never liked surprises before coffee. But when Cal Morgan stormed into her clinic carrying a glowing, half-conscious alien child, she skipped caffeine and went straight to adrenaline. The girl lay motionless on the exam table, wrapped in Cal's oil-stained jacket. Her skin, translucent and faintly bioluminescent, was covered in hairline cracks. Her chest fluttered with shallow, uneven breaths. Marion didn't waste time gawking. "Vitals," she barked. Cal answered like a field medic. "Respiratory weak, shallow. Doesn't seem to have a consistent pulse. Might not have blood like ours." She was in a crash. Her own people just left her. Marion grabbed gloves, sensors, and her scanner wand. Left her. Called her an outlier. Said she wasn't worth fixing. Marion's lips thinned, eyes flashing. Screw that. She placed the scanner on the girl's chest. It whined and blinked red, unable to process half the data. "Okay," she muttered. "Guess we're going old school." The clinic wasn't equipped for alien physiology, but Marion had patched up everything from racehorses to golden eagles. She'd once performed emergency surgery on a baby moose using a flashlight and garden tools. This, just another challenge. She unwrapped the girl, exposing limbs with joint structures unlike anything she'd seen. "Cal, look at this," she said, pointing. "That's not bone. It's flexible, organic lattice, like reinforced cartilage." Cal leaned closer. "She's still breathing, but shallow. Give me that 4-kit. Don't care what planet she's from. She needs fluids." They worked in silence. Cal adjusted the table lamp, shining it on the girl's torso. Her rib cage shimmered faintly under the light, organs moving with rhythmic pulses. But one section near her abdomen was dark, collapsed. Marion hooked up the 4 to a vein-like channel that glowed faint green when touched. She pressed gently on the girl's side. A shudder ran through her. "She felt that," Cal said. "Good. She's still in there." Marion checked her eyes. Iridescent pupils dilated slowly. "Can't say what's normal for her species, but she's fighting." "Her people didn't even try," Cal muttered. Marion looked up. "Then screw her people." They stabilized her over the next hour. Marion used a modified oxygen chamber for reptiles to adjust her airflow, and Cal cobbled together a biosling using towels and heat packs to support her fragile frame. When they finally paused, Marion sat back on her stool, wiping sweat from her brow. "She's not out of the woods," she said, "but I think she's got a shot." Cal's shoulders sagged with relief. "You did it. We did it," she corrected. "And we're not done." In orbit, aboard a cloaked observation vessel, 3 alien medics monitored from a cold metallic bridge. "She should have expired by now," one stated, watching the human feed. "They are interfering," another said. "Primitive tools. Inaccurate diagnostics." "Yet, she persists." The third, older and silent until now, narrowed his gaze. "They do not act from logic. They act from bond." The other said nothing. "Observation continues," the old one concluded. "If the outlier adapts, we may have misjudged." Back on Earth, Marion was finishing notes in a worn notebook, an old habit when machines couldn't help. "Her vitals are stabilizing," she said aloud. "But her biochemistry is strange. No immune response we can measure. Energy regulation suggests plant-like metabolism, possibly photosynthetic." Cal raised an eyebrow. "So she eats sunlight?" "More like she absorbs and converts it. I think that's how she survived the crash. Her body went into a kind of stasis." He looked at the girl, still motionless but visibly breathing. "What kind of people leave a kid like this behind?" Marion didn't answer. Instead, she pulled out a heated blanket and covered the child gently. As she did, the girl stirred. A faint chirrup escaped her throat, like a whistle carried by wind. Her eyes fluttered open for the first time. They were luminous violet, layered like a nebula. She blinked slowly, then looked straight at Cal. Her tiny hand lifted, trembling, and touched his arm. In that moment, Cal felt it. Not a word, not a thought, but a raw, pure surge of emotion, confusion, fear, and underneath it all, hope. "She's awake," he whispered. Marion stepped back. "Let's give her a minute." "She's scared." But the girl didn't recoil. She kept her hand on Cal's arm, her gaze unwavering. Outside, the sun finally broke over the horizon, casting golden light through the windows. The glow touched her skin, and her breathing grew steadier. Marion crossed her arms, studying the scene. She doesn't just want to live, she said quietly. She wants to trust. Cal nodded slowly. Then we've got a job to do, learning to speak, learning to live. Nova couldn't speak, not in any language Cal or Dr. Bell understood, but she was trying. Every day, she learned something new. Gestures, sounds, colors, light patterns from her skin that shifted with emotion. Her body was still healing, slowly. She moved cautiously, her legs trembling like a newborn foal's, but she was recovering. Cal built her a little room in his workshop, half barn, half lab. It had soft blankets, a heat lamp, a solar panel she curled under like a cat, and shelves filled with odds and ends. She especially liked wires. And music. The first time Cal strummed his old guitar, she froze. Her eyes widened, skin pulsing pale gold. She crept closer and placed her fingers on the vibrating string. A quiet, breathy coo escaped her. From that day forward, Nova made sounds, tentative at first, then rhythmic, almost melodic. Not quite speech, but communication. Dr. Bell made regular house calls, running scans, and keeping logs. She noted something extraordinary. Her neurons are evolving, she explained, pointing to brainwave readings. It's like her brain is reconfiguring itself based on exposure. Language centers are expanding. She's adapting to us. Cal leaned over the data. Is that normal? Marion shook her head. No, this is accelerated neuroplasticity. Honestly, it's like she was designed to survive wherever she ended up. Cal watched Nova across the room, where she was humming to herself, braiding wires into loops. She's not just healing, he said. She's becoming. One afternoon, Cal brought out an old chalkboard. All right, kid, he said, handing her a piece of chalk. Let's see what you know. Nova took it with 2 fingers. She stared at the surface, then slowly began drawing. Not letters, but shapes. Patterns. A complex, spiraling design formed under her hand, intricate and clean. Cal blinked. What is that? Nova pointed at it, then tapped her forehead. She touched her chest, then gestured toward the sky. You remember this? She nodded once, then added 3 dots near the spiral's edge, smaller, fainter. Stars. Cal guessed. Nova stared at him for a moment, then reached out and touched his hand. Suddenly, he felt something. Not words, not pictures, but a pulse of emotion. Awe, distance, loneliness, then a flicker of something else, belonging. Cal's throat tightened. You don't want to go back, do you? Nova shook her head, slow and sure. That night, Cal sat on the porch, the cool air biting his skin as stars stretched over the valley. Dr. Bell joined him, sipping tea. She's bonding with you, she said. I can feel it, Cal admitted. It's like she's choosing us, choosing this life. She's starting to speak through emotion, Bell added. Some kind of low-level telepathy. It's limited but powerful. She sends feelings instead of words. Cal looked out toward the woods. Her people didn't see that, didn't even try. Bell sighed. Maybe they're too advanced for emotion. Or maybe they just forgot how to feel it. He glanced back inside, where Nova was curled beside his old Labrador, Murphy. She had her hand resting on his side, mimicking his breathing pattern. Doesn't matter, Cal said. She's here now. But someone else was watching. In the quiet sky above, the alien probe Nova had once escaped from reactivated. It had picked up the signal she'd sent, brief, faint, and encoded with one phrase. I want to stay. Aboard the orbiting craft, the same 3 alien medics studied the signal. One of them, younger and colder, scowled. She is deviating further from her programming. Another one replied, she is evolving. The elder medic stood slowly. Then we must decide, retrieval or termination. They prepared a response drone. But something about the signal lingered in the air. A pulse of defiance, of choice. The next morning, Cal woke to find Nova tinkering in his garage. She dismantled an old radio and mixed the parts with her chalk drawing. It wasn't random. She was building something, shaping it like the spiral she had drawn. A pulse emitter, small, hidden, and elegant. She looked up at him and pressed her hand to her chest, then pointed toward Earth. Then the sky. Cal understood. She wasn't signaling for rescue. She was claiming this place as hers. They came back for her. The sky cracked open again, but this time, There was no beauty in it. Cal stood at the edge of his property, eyes fixed on the pale blue rift hovering above the treetops. It shimmered like heat over asphalt, distorting the pines beneath it. Then came a sound, low, electric, unnatural, a hum that pressed against his bones. Nova was already outside, barefoot in the grass, staring up. She knew. Her skin pulsed a muted gray blue, a color Cal had learned meant unease. Fear, yes, but calm too. Resignation. They're here for me, she said, not in words, but in that deep, quiet way of hers. The emotional pulse hit Cal like a whisper behind his ribs. No, he said firmly. They gave up that right. From the rift, a sleek obsidian craft descended, sleek, silent, and indifferent. It hovered just above the barn, casting long shadows over the land. Murphy growled from the porch, low and uncertain. Dr. Bell's truck skidded into the drive minutes later. She stepped out still, wearing her lab coat, eyes scanning the sky. You see this? She said. I see it, Cal replied. And I'm not letting them take her. The ship's underbelly opened with a hiss. A ramp descended. 3 figures stepped out, tall, featureless except for their mirrored eyes and glowing emblems. The same ones who'd abandoned Nova. Cal stepped between them and her. You want to talk? Talk. But you're not laying a finger on her. One of the aliens stepped forward. His voice was emotionless, the words precise. She does not belong here. She chose to be here, Cal snapped. She's part of this now. She is incompatible with your species, with this planet. She is an outlier, biologically unstable. She's living. That's what matters. The second alien added, her development has diverged from our projections. Her cognitive structure is now partially human. Dr. Bell stepped beside Cal. That sounds like progress to me. The aliens didn't react. Nova stepped forward, placing her small hand on Cal's back. Her skin began to glow, not with fear now, but a vibrant golden white. She reached out toward the lead alien and pulsed a deep surge of emotion. No, I won't go. I have chosen. The lead alien stiffened. This expression is not protocol. It is error. No, Cal said. It's freedom. For a moment, nothing happened. The wind stilled. Time stretched thin. Then the third alien, the elder, stepped forward. He studied Nova for a long moment, then tilted his head. She is evolving, adapting beyond predictive parameters. She's becoming more, Bell added. And you're scared of that. The elder alien's voice softened. Not fear, uncertainty. She is not the first outlier, but she is the first to survive, to adapt. Cal felt Nova's hand tighten slightly. The elder looked down at her, and something, just something, shifted in his expression. You will remain, he said. The others turned sharply. Elder, it is her choice, and it must be observed for what comes next. With that, he turned and walked back into the ship. The others hesitated, then followed. The ramp closed. The ship rose silently and slipped back into the sky, vanishing like mist. And it was over. Cal exhaled. Dr. Bell just stared upward for a long moment before shaking her head. That actually worked. Nova turned to them and let out a sound, something like a chime and a laugh wrapped into one. Then she ran, awkward, graceful, joyful, straight into Cal's arms. Later, in the barn, Cal watched her tinker with the emitter again. Only now it didn't point outward. It pulsed downward into the earth, rooted, a message sent not into the stars, but into the ground beneath her. A claim, a home. Dr. Bell approached, arms folded. You realize what this means, don't you? Yeah, Cal said. She's not just staying. She's starting something. Nova looked up, her violet eyes bright. And in a voice that was still broken, still learning, but hers, she spoke her first true word.